out the gun and aimed it at my head. She didn't aim it at my feet because we're the same side, and pulled the trigger.
Wow.
And sometimes I think, my God, what if I had, went right here. I've got it right here. What if I turned around?
Yeah.
That's what.
Point
Just
blank.
in a second.
Even half an inch difference.
Yes.
It could have been anything.
Up in the brain.
Totally.
Down.
Well, the reason the
I could be
bullet.
paralyzed.
Sorry, yes, that's what I was just trying to get to. Is the reason they left the bullet in your head was because it was so close to a nerve, right?
Right.
Through to my spinal column.
Yeah.
Because luckily, again, what it did is it slammed into my temporal mandibular joint. That kind of slowed it. So it hit that and then took a downward spiral and went into but it severed my carotid artery. I almost bled to death out on my front stoop. That was more it.
If, let's say the bullet...
In the summer of 1992, the quiet suburban community of Massapequa, New York, was rocked by a brutal crime that would captivate the nation. Mary Jo Buttafuoco, a seemingly ordinary woman, became the victim of a shocking act of violence that unraveled a web of deceit, obsession, and betrayal. This story explores the events leading up to the murder of Mary Jo Buttafuoco, the investigation that followed, and the chilling aftermath that forever changed the lives of those involved. Mary Jo Buttafuoco was born on September 14, 1964, in the borough of Brooklyn, New York. She grew up in a close-knit Italian-American family and later moved to Massapequa, where she would build her life with her husband, Joey Buttafuoco. The couple married in 1982 and had 2 children, a daughter named Jessica and a son named Paul. On the surface, the Buttafuoco family appeared to live a typical suburban life, filled with the joys and challenges of raising a young family. However, beneath this facade, tensions simmered. Joey Buttafuoco was a charming and ambitious man who ran a successful auto body shop. But he also had a reputation for being a womanizer, a trait that would come back to haunt him and his family in the most devastating way. In the early 1990s, Joey Buttafuoco began an affair with a much younger woman named Amy Fisher. Fisher, a high school student at the time, was drawn to Joey's charisma and the excitement of their relationship. Despite the significant age difference and the fact that Joey was married with children, their affair quickly intensified. Amy Fisher became infatuated with Joey, believing he was the love of her life. However, as time went on, her obsession deepened, and she became increasingly jealous of Mary Jo. This jealousy would ultimately lead to a shocking and violent confrontation. On May 19, 1992, Mary Jo Buttafuoco's life would change forever. On that fateful day, she was at home in Massapequa when she heard a knock at the door. Thinking it was a friend or a delivery person, she opened the door to find a young woman standing there. That woman was Amy Fisher. Without warning, Fisher pulled out a .25 caliber handgun and shot Mary Jo in the face at close range. The bullet struck Mary Jo's jaw, severely injuring her and leaving her in critical condition. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the neighborhood, and chaos erupted as neighbors rushed to help. Mary Jo was rushed to the hospital, where she underwent multiple surgeries to save her life. The doctors worked tirelessly to repair the damage caused by the gunshot wound. Fortunately, Mary Jo survived, but the incident left her with significant physical and emotional scars. As news of the shooting spread, the Buttafuoco family found themselves thrust into the media spotlight. Reporters flocked to their home, eager to capture every detail of the story. The investigation quickly focused on the identity of the shooter, and it wasn't long before police connected Amy Fisher to the crime. Authorities began piecing together the events leading up to the attack. They learned that Fisher had been infatuated with Joey Buttafuoco and had repeatedly attempted to contact him. After discovering their affair, Mary Jo had confronted Joey about his infidelity, leading to escalating tensions within the household. When questioned by police, Amy Fisher initially denied involvement in the shooting. However, as the investigation progressed, her story began to unravel. It became clear that she had plotted the attack against Mary Jo out of jealousy and rage. On May 20, just a day after the shooting, Amy Fisher was arrested and charged with attempted murder. Her arrest sent shockwaves through the community and the nation. The story was captivating, filled with elements of betrayal, obsession, and violence that drew widespread media attention. As Fisher faced charges, the public was intrigued by the details of the love triangle that had led to the shooting. The sensational nature of the case led to extensive coverage in newspapers and on television, making Mary Jo and Joey Buttafuoco household names. The trial of Amy Fisher began in 1993, and it quickly became a media circus. Fisher's defense team argued that she was a troubled young woman who had been manipulated by Joey Buttafuoco. They claimed that she had acted out of a sense of desperation and betrayal after Joey had ended their affair. Mary Jo, determined to confront her attacker, bravely testified during the trial. She recounted the harrowing details of the shooting and the impact it had on her life and family. Her emotional testimony resonated with the jury and the public alike. As the trial progressed, shocking revelations came to light about Joey Buttafuoco's character and his role in the events that led to the shooting. The prosecution painted a picture of a man who had carelessly put his family in danger through his infidelity and manipulation. After weeks of testimony, the jury ultimately found Amy Fisher guilty of aggravated assault and attempted murder. She was sentenced to 5 to 15 years in prison, a sentence that many felt was too lenient given the severity of her crime. The media frenzy surrounding the trial continued, with Fisher being dubbed the Long Island Lolita in sensational headlines. Mary Jo Buttafuoco, while grateful to have survived the attack, faced a long road to recovery. She underwent extensive rehabilitation to cope with the physical and emotional scars left by the shooting. The media scrutiny added further strain to her life as she navigated the challenges of being in the public eye. While Amy Fisher served her prison sentence, the Buttafuoco family struggled to rebuild their lives. Mary Jo faced not only physical challenges, but also the emotional toll of the attack. Her marriage to Joey became increasingly strained as they dealt with the fallout from the affair and the shooting. In 1996, Mary Jo and Joey Buttafuoco separated, and their marriage officially ended in divorce. The trauma of the events had taken a significant toll on their relationship, and both were left to pick up the pieces of their lives. After serving about 7 years in prison, Amy Fisher was released in 1999. Upon her release, she attempted to rebuild her life, but continued to live under the shadow of her past. Fisher made several attempts to re-enter the public eye, appearing on reality television shows and giving interviews about her life and the shooting. The public's fascination with Fisher remained, but opinions were divided. While some sympathized with her troubled past, others viewed her as a cold-hearted criminal who had shattered a family. The Buttafuoco case continued to garner media attention long after the trial. Numerous documentaries, television specials, and books explored the dramatic events surrounding the shooting. The case became a cautionary tale about love, obsession, and the consequences of infidelity. Mary Jo eventually decided to share her story in her memoir, Getting It Through My Thick Skull: Why I Stayed, What I Learned, and What Millions of People Involved with Sociopaths Need to Know. In the book, she opened up about her experiences, the impact of the shooting on her life, and her journey toward healing. The murder of Mary Jo Buttafuoco serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of love, betrayal, and obsession. While Amy Fisher was the one who pulled the trigger, the circumstances leading to the attack highlight the broader implications of toxic relationships and infidelity. Mary Jo's bravery in the face of adversity has inspired many who have faced similar challenges. Her story emphasizes the importance of resilience and the power of survival in the aftermath of trauma. The case of Mary Jo Buttafuoco and Amy Fisher is one that resonates deeply within the realms of true crime. It illustrates how a seemingly ordinary life can spiral into chaos due to the intertwining of love, betrayal, and violence. As time goes on, the story serves as a chilling reminder of the dark consequences that can arise from passion and obsession. In the years since the events unfolded, Mary Jo has continued to advocate for victims of domestic violence and has shared her story in hopes of helping others. Her journey is one of strength, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of a woman who refused to be defined by her past. As we reflect on this tragic true crime story, we are reminded that behind every headline, there are real people whose lives have been forever changed by the choices made by others. The legacy of Mary Jo Buttafuoco is one of survival and the pursuit of healing in the face of unimaginable pain.